I hear you saying that this is a weirdo move. What is dark feminine energy? Where is Chengi taking us? Are we about to lose the plot here? Well, don't despair, don't run away. We'll be right back as I explain to you what dark feminine energy is and why you desperately need it. Yes, you, young lady who's about to turn over and find something a little bit more light and love. Hang in with me and I will tell you all you need to hear. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to the Black Swan Relationship Academy. My name is Chengi. I am your dating and relationship expert and founder of the Black Swan Relationship Academy, where my coaches and I teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, and high worth woman that high quality men find completely irresistible. If that is you and you want to be any man's dream girl, you are absolutely 100% on the right channel. So let's get into today's video. What is dark feminine energy? Maybe that's a good place to start. The spiritual community uses this term. I know it can send some danger signals to many of us, especially those of us who are deeply religious. In truth, dark feminine energy can be understood as the full spectrum of femininity that includes aspects that are frowned upon by religion or society. I like to think of it as the white swan and the black swan. Both are swans and have similar qualities, but one is rarer than the other, darker than the other, more fascinating, alluring than the other because it is rare. They are the same bird, but evoke different emotions in us, albeit both are regal. The feminine is both in one. The dark feminine is the part of us that is rare, exquisite, and uncommon, that we wield naturally and weave into our feminine arts to get what we want without exerting or having to lean on our masculine energy. It is the shadow part of us, the part that we keep hidden for fear of judgment, rejection, and ejection from our tribe. The part of us we believe to be wrong and harmful. Coming from a religious background and embracing our dark feminine energy is really becoming acquainted with our shadow and integrating both without guilt or shame. Being safe to be all of who we are, not a fraction. I just want to talk to my church girls. There is nothing that the devil has created. Everything that is in us has been created, designed by God for a purpose. It may only feel dark because it is being used wrongly. But when we understand that everything that is on the inside of us has a purpose, and everything that we don't always put forward or feel is light and love has a purpose too. We know that Christ is both the lion and the lamb. We know that God is both the judge and the father. We know there is a duality in the Trinity. We know that the Holy Spirit is gentle, yet powerful and formidable. We understand the duality in the Holy Spirit. We understand the duality in God, but we deny it within ourselves. Dark feminine is simply that duality in us, the part in us that needs to be resident, accepted, and explored so that we can be holy women in our relationships, so that we can truly show up as who we are. And if God was just one thing, we would not have reverence for him. We would not honor him. If life did not have death awaiting it, then it would have no value. It is the looming and inevitable idea of death that makes life so very precious. Now, of course, the dark feminine is nothing like that. It's actually a very beautiful side, and we're going to explore that a little bit further before I lose any more of you. The dark feminine is the aspects that pertain to desire, the play with desire, passion, sexuality, all of the aspects that we have been taught are Jezebelian in nature and should be avoided. Often used in advertising industry in Hollywood movies as the femme fatale, yet we observe women like this wield incredible power. Say Beyonce, Angelina Jolie, Rihanna, Marilyn Monroe, etc. As a Christian woman myself, it took me a great deal to honor and respect my dark feminine, especially as I spoke to multiple men within and without the faith that all craved the dark feminine in their women as much as the light feminine. The key is to know when and where to bring up the dark feminine. If you are dating, then flirting with single men is a really good idea. But if you are speaking to somebody's hubby, maybe not so much. If you are married, being a vixen in the bedroom and playing with your desire can light things up for both of you. Whilst if you're single and have your tits and bits out for all to see, it may be misread and misunderstood as a one-night only girl. If it is used in its place, it can really bring a lot of balance, because ultimately everything is about balance. God says in his word that he desires a right balance. I often find that where extremes lie, often God is not found there. Everything is about balance, and in the balance is often where we have an opportunity to see God. I find balance is exactly where God is found. Balance is necessary for all aspects of our spirituality and our physical reality. Just as much as we need to balance our feminine and masculine, so also we need to balance our dark and light feminine. Let's talk about the other aspects of dark feminine energy and why we need it. Ever notice that being light and love, free and breezy, laid back and chill can attract players, abusers, losers who will have a field day? It can make a partner take you for granted, expect you to tolerate disrespect, neglect, or indifference from them. And this is when the dark feminine becomes necessary. You see, we love a gentleman that opens doors and picks up the tab, but we lose attraction if we feel he is doing it because he has no spine and is harmless. We love it when a man is in his dark masculine too. We feel innately that we cannot push him around or take him for granted because he will check us or walk away if we disrespect him. When a man is tuned into his dark masculinity, it allows him to be a gentleman, but not be taken for a ride. In other words, he needs to have an element of danger under restraint. And this is true of the feminine. Beyond the light and love, there must always be an undertone that she does not tolerate nonsense from any man at any time without her needing to be aggressive or declaring it outright. The dark feminine is supported by a healthy self-esteem and self-worth. The dark feminine is assertive. She gently but clearly asks for what she wants. She takes pleasure for herself in and out of the bedroom. She has a healthy relationship with her wants and needs. She's not dictated to by shame, guilt, or fear. She speaks up by communicating her standards without fear of losing a man or being combative. She is firm and polite because she knows she is always willing to walk away. What are you looking for? What do you bring to the table? Here's my number, he says on the dating app, and you have to figure out what you're going to do with that. What do you say when you really like him and want to be unforgettable on the app, at the party, in the moment? What do you say to set boundaries and standards in a high-value, sassy, sexy way and still be taken seriously? What if I told you that we have created a 20-page downloadable PDF full of Black Swan scripts with exactly what to say to him for the unforgettable woman, and it's available now? And if that wasn't enough, what if I told you that I'm giving away a free sample script version that you can use immediately for free? To get both the free version or full version, all you have to do is follow the link in my bio and become unforgettable. If you have been a black swan long enough, this concept of dark femininity is something that you have already been learning and practicing, often called being high value in the relationship coaching community. Now we may end up getting caught up in some things, like confusing this dimension of femininity as masculine energy or wounded feminine energy. And I'll be honest, it all gets a little too confusing. So let's see if I can illustrate the difference. Dark feminine is sexy, sensual, and rather inviting, alluring than promising. Dark feminine flirts, seduces. I know this one is triggering for some of us, but seduction is how we invite others into our lives for helpful or harmful reasons. Seduction itself allows us to move towards us, things to move towards us through wanting and desire, to be there rather than chasing or exploiting another's weakness. What we use seduction for is the issue of conscience. We seduce you here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy to watch our content by the thumbnails and the titles, not to harm you, but to educate you for the Black Swan experience. We could use other methods, but we would rather you were led here by your own desire. So, in essence, the dark feminine entices others to want to look deeper and connect for enjoyment, learning, and discovery rather than obligation or necessity. Masculine energy in a woman offers sex on a silver platter. It is a sure thing. Let's think about it, swans. How many of us feel that if we offered sex to most men, that they would refuse our advances? Very rarely will masculine energy walk away from such an offer. It is almost part of a man's charm, but certainly not a feminine woman's charm. The chase, the pursuit of sexual intimacy as a possibility is the attractive bit for the masculine man. It's about the hunt, the mystery, the intrigue bit for men. Otherwise, they're escorts for this kind of instant service. The wounded feminine is promiscuous, not because she is a whore. In many cases, it is because she has some kind of sexual trauma or a belief that her body belongs to any man that desires it. She often offers her body as currency for a relationship, and this comes from a wounded place where her sacred womanhood has been reduced to her sexuality. Dark feminine enjoys, honors, and respects the power of her sexuality instead of denying, rejecting, disowning, or suppressing it in order to appear virtuous, because virtue is a deeper concept than a pure virginal character. There are many virgin, celibate women and women with low body counts who are mean as hell, unkind, bitchy, and harmful. So we must define virtue by more grounded standards. And this will be for another video. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to be notified when it comes out. Light feminine energy is a celebration of beauty, warmth, softness, passivity, patience, and submission. I like to think of it like this. The light feminine is soft, harmless, gentle, nurturing dimension of the divine feminine, and the dark feminine is the power and desire element of the feminine spectrum. If you are with a man that cannot accept your dark feminine, then there's some serious issues you have to deal with, because there isn't a healthy man that doesn't enjoy a woman with a healthy dark feminine energy. So how do we unleash it? We do some shadow work. We look closely at the aspects in our lives that we experience resistance when trying to move forward. What are the areas in our womanhood that we experience shame, guilt, fear? What are we hiding about ourselves? What are we repressing about ourselves? What are we disowning about our desire? And what are we repressing about our desire? In that place, when you release yourself and understand that there is no evil or bad in you, just you, your desire, your wants, your needs, and your journey. When we do the shadow work, we're really able to unleash our authentic self, and that will always make us unique and stand out. Number 2, grow your understanding of womanhood and understand your capacity to be more than you have been. When I work with my clients, I realize that We get stuck in a box. We have to be one or two colors and nothing more. But I believe that we can be any color, all the colors, all the time, in one body, in one spirit, in one soul. We don't have to be one thing or the other. Our character has got to be sound, but who we are and how we show up in our personality can be colored in many colors. When we allow ourselves as women to truly be a garden of beauty, a garden full of different flowers blossoming, when we stop becoming a flower, but in fact a garden, then we will be able to allow all of the things that are planted on the inside of us to blossom in their season. Number 3, experiment with safe things. Safe things being the stuff we can change if we want to. For instance, your style, what you wear, the places you go to. These are things that if you don't like it, you can change. You don't have to go back there again. Number 4, we challenge ourselves to grow. If you're going to be a balanced woman, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and learn to flirt. If you don't know how, then the Flirt and Date Masterclass is for you. In that masterclass, I teach you exactly how to flirt in a feminine, high-value way. Number 5, begin to unlearn everything you have been taught and believed about being a good woman. You can do that by enrolling in the Nice Girl Rehab and listening to my podcast, The Black Swan Life, where I am talking at the moment about the many things we need to unlearn in order to experience the Black Swan life. What you must know for this point is that being a good woman doesn't translate to being a nice woman. Being a good woman doesn't look one way. Being a good woman is not just light and love. Being a good woman is a woman that has firm boundaries, standards, desires, wants, and needs that she's not ashamed of. These are the 5 ways right now that I will share with you to unleash your dark feminine. This is the time for you to truly become a black swan. Without this balance, you will simply become the boring wife of some bored man. You will be the girl that men put aside for marriage. But really, if you want to be the one-stop shop that a man cannot get enough of, that he is proud to be seen with, a kind of wife material, if you want your husband to want to come home at night and spend a lot of time with you, then it is essential that you explore both your light and dark feminine. You don't want to be the girl that is put in a box while he has fun and then marries her in the end, and then he's bored to death for the rest of his life. I can guarantee you this. I've spoken to men from all walks of life, religions, tribes, and tongues, and they will tell you that the one thing that they do desire in and out of the bedroom now and again, and for sure, is that aspect of the dark feminine. I believe that we here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy have given you all the tools to be a light feminine woman and to be a high value woman. Now, I invite you to explore your dark feminine, to be open to those bits of you that perhaps you have been ashamed of, those bits where perhaps you don't speak up for yourself as you should, those bits where you don't love yourself enough to walk away, those bits that make you as delicious as you are dangerous. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I hope that this was really helpful. In the meantime, take care of you. See you soon. Bye-bye now. Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway? And what are you going to start practicing right away? Those 3 things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look, and I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all of your comments and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.